CTE Pro 1 Banking Series, Video 7. This Video 7 is a follow-up to Video 6 because I stated something in Video 6 that I think that I should address. I stated that when professional players are banking this ball cross corner and they do their left visual sweep and take their tip to center, that they're aligning their tip to center based on this edge. And then for executing the two-rail bank, I stated that when they would execute the right visual sweep, that their tip would be aligned at center based on this edge. So, are professional players aware of the fact that their tip alignment for center ball for executing these two shots is based on one edge or the other edge? No. Not unless they're schooled in center to edge aiming. As I've said many times before, the body of work, CTE Pro 1, is the explanation, the full explanation to the nth degree of what's happening at the professional level. So, I want to call your attention to how I know how a professional can receive this instruction and demonstration and become aware of the fact that they're actually doing a half ball pivot here. So let's take a look at the cross corner bank. For this cross corner bank, when I turn my left shoulder into this shot, my tip is being aligned to center based on this edge. Now, I'm not going into the stepping lesson and how you change the sightline center. You can see that in my Truth series early on in videos 3 or 4 or something like that. So check that out if you want to know more about this subject matter. So when a pro player is looking at this one rail bank and they're in this position here, because of this perception, which would be common for 4 or 6 professional players that came through this door, this perception would be common. I don't even have to explain to them the lines that make up the perception. What would happen at this stage of seeing this cue ball object ball relationship, the computer that is at work in the professional's mind's eye and their physical intelligence knows that the bridge V placement is going to go on the left side of this sightline perception without exception. So at this point, when this perception is seen, then the shot line emerges. The shot line emerges based on this outermost edge for this side of the cue ball, because this line right here is actually changed. When the professional player knows, subconsciously, intuitively, that his bridge V is going on this side of the sight line, his eyes automatically, naturally engage in seeing this half of the cue ball, which changes the center to the shot line that solves the shot. So, a professional player without any knowledge of CTE would set up on this shot, and without exception, their bridge V is going to come to the inside of this perception line. Their eyes and their body are focused on this half of the cue ball. That's what changes the center. So the objective solution to this shot is 90 ticks away from this outermost edge. So CTE is a body of work that has the explanation for what is occurring at the level for the elite players. Now for the two-rail bank, a pro player, a player that shot his blue million shots, will sit up here and look at this shot for the two-rail bank, and they're going to bend this way. They may not even be aware of the fact that they're bending that way. They are likely not even aware that their mind's eye is picking up a feeding forward process which will have their bridge V going to this half of the cue ball, just barely on this side of the sight line, which will naturally engage their eyes in stepping because they're looking at this half of the cue ball. That will change the center. So when I'm looking at the 2-rail bank, I'm going this way. My bridge V comes on this side of this perception line. You don't have to be aware of the fact. You don't have to be cognizant of the fact that this sight line is there. It just is. It's there. There's 3 or 4 perceptions that connect with the right angles on this table. And to think that the pros that have shot their blue million shots have not narrowed down subconsciously what these perceptions are, that's a mistake to think that. They're not out there picking out contact points for a zillion shots or picking out ghost ball cores for a zillion shots. The eyes, our wonderful visual intelligence solves this game if we shoot enough shots. That's why I can bring a carload of pros in here and they're all going to do this or they're all going to do this. They will have that in common. That is a challenge. Come on in and I'll show you. So pros are actually engaged in half-ball pivoting. A pivot from the inside for this, a pivot from the outside for the 2-rail bank. You're not going to see a pivot. It's just a natural angling of the cue. So, for one shot, the bank cross corner, the bridge V will always be placed just to the inside of this sight line, if center ball is the premium. For the 2-rail bank, an analysis will show, without exception, that the bridge V will be placed on this side of the sight line. So, the education continues. The education deepens. So, knowledge is a wonderful thing. The competition among pro players these days is getting fierce. It's getting to be fierce. Wow, what a wonderful group of amazing players that I had a treat to view last week at the Derby City Classic. So CTE allows you now to unlock what is occurring at that level visually and physically. And I'm glad to be carrying the torch for center to edge aiming. That's what the pros are doing. The education continues. Thank you very much.